Taliban insurgents are rapidly making ground in Afghanistan. Thousands have died and hundreds of thousands more are homeless. So what happens now? The Taliban believes in an extreme version of Islamic law. When the group was in power in Afghanistan between 1996 and 2001, girls' education beyond the age of 10 was outlawed. Public executions were common, as were stonings. Television was banned, and religious dress codes were strictly enforced. After US troops arrived in 2001 in response to the 9/11 terror attacks, and the Taliban was ousted, rules were relaxed. The number of girls in education went up from 9,000 in 1999 to 3.5 million today.
We have a lot of gain and achievement. We have women in different parts of the society, women politicians, women economists, women in the health service, and everywhere.
But now US, British and other NATO troops have withdrawn from the country.
Afghan leaders have to come together. We lost thousands of American personnel. They've got to fight for themselves.
And the Taliban's influence has grown once again. Women are already seeing their freedoms curbed, and human rights violations are on the rise.
خزنی است اونجا دبین جنگ است طالبان است یعنی اونجا طالبان برای دخترها اجازه نمیدادن که بسیار براحتی از خانه بیرون شوند یا که براحتی دشار گردش کنند.
The UK, UN and US say that they won't recognise the Taliban as a legitimate government if it arrives by force.
We will not accept a military takeover of Afghanistan or a return of the Taliban's Islamic Emirate.
But the Chinese government has already held some talks with the group.
阿富汗塔利班是阿富汗举足轻重的军事和政治力量，有望在和平和解和重建进程中发挥重要作用。
And Russia has traditionally shown an interest in the country, so could be another ally. In fact, Russia was the first country to publicly engage with the Taliban after US troops withdrew early this year. The Kremlin wants to protect its borders from Islamic extremism by allying with the Taliban against Al-Qaeda and Islamic State. Iran's ties with the Taliban also seem to be growing. Back in January, senior officials in Tehran received a Taliban delegation to discuss relations between the two countries. And India, which has previously refused to open communication channels with the group, has now confirmed it has been talking to Taliban officials. Nearly half of the Afghan population currently requires humanitarian assistance, according to the World Health Organization, including 3.1 million children. The World Health Organization said it is struggling to get supplies in, and medical centers have been attacked by the Taliban. Shipments of COVID vaccines through the COVAX scheme are still being delivered. The Taliban says that it supports the government's immunization drive, and officials hope that Taliban soldiers will leave vaccination centers unharmed. The Taliban themselves, however brutal, have never been a threat outside of Afghanistan. But under their previous rule, Al-Qaeda was free to plan the 9/11 attacks from inside the country. They gave safe harbor to Osama bin Laden. As part of the peace deal negotiated with President Trump last year, the Taliban said it wouldn't allow terrorist groups to shelter in the country. But if it does take power, it's likely that that promise will be broken. And so, as the Taliban's control over Afghanistan grows, the stakes for the country and the world are high.